Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Demonosophy and Beyond. I am Greg, the person who runs this channel. Um, I would like to say welcome back, actually, because this is part 2 of my Occult Library, where I show you the rest of the books that are on the subject of occult or magic, and I tell you briefly about what I think about these books. First book that we're going to start with is Sefer HaMagid, the Book of Asmodeus. This is what it looks like, and it was a very interesting book to me. Because, well, first of all, on the back it talks about the Talmud tells how the benign Shedem is supposed to be the word for demon, conversed with the rabbis who were gifted with the language of demons. When speaking about demons, it talked about how, like, these, I guess, rabbis, they were on the road and they came upon a demon, and the demon greeted them in a friendly manner. And it portrayed demons in a different light where they weren't necessarily evil. And I really appreciated that. There are invocations in here that I haven't necessarily tried, but there's a lot of information in here that was very interesting to me. And it's a very good source of information. I keep it, and it is one of my favorites. Let's see. I think I did a review on this one. I'm pretty sure I did. It is the Sacerdotium Umbrae Mortis, Death Shadow Priesthood. This is what it looks like. I believe there is a deluxe version of it, but this is the regular version. This is the book that I said would probably cause you mental trauma if you went through it. It has a rite called the Rite of 13 Graves, where you invoke many spirits at one time to actually feed off of you and prepare you for the priesthood for this the system. And it's a very uncomfortable and dangerous method, ceremony to go through. So I believe in the book review, said if you have nothing to lose and you're a little bit more advanced in your practice and on your path, then you might be interested in working through the exercises of this book. But personally, I did not get through the whole thing. The next book is the Abhikara, the Magic of Tantric Mystics and Warlocks. This is a beautiful book. Beautiful illustrations. This is about the Tantric Arts in the area of India. This has nothing to do with sex. This is a hardcore practice. And from what I've heard, because I've spoken to people who know a little bit about the practice, the only way that you can do this is with a guru. Because if you try, the likelihood of you dying is very high. I feel like the person who wrote this book did put love into it. However, there are a lot of terms that you would not understand unless you were a part of that practice already. It's very advanced. How big is this book? This book is over 600 pages. I got to page 271 and I just had to stop because I can't wrap my head around a lot of these concepts. This is not a book that is for beginners. It's very hard to find anything about the real tantric practice, not the Western tantric practice, that helps you break down the concepts that are in these books, in this book specifically. But I love it. You know, I like to be challenged. I like to be exposed to different concepts. And this book is not boring whatsoever, but it's beyond my grasp at this moment. Maybe when I evolve a little bit more, then I'll be able to come back to it. Give me a sec. All right. Next book by Asenath Mason is the Grimoire of Tiamat. Asenath Mason, I actually met online, like over Skype, and talked to her, and she seems pretty cool. This book was very interesting about going into the lore of Tiamat, and it goes into different things that you can do, both by yourself and also with a partner. It has very good meditations in here to help you contact Tiamat and become part of that, dip into that energy. The energy can be very strong. It can be very disturbing, but I feel like those types of energies allow you to transcend your current boundaries. And you need to go through that you need to be kind of like broken down in order to be built up better. So, going through scary experiences or going through difficult things when practicing magic doesn't necessarily put me off, because I personally understand that you have to be bruised and broken in order to rebuild stronger. Yeah. So this was a pretty good book. Not necessarily one of my favorites, but I respect the author and I respect this book. Next one is one of my favorites, even though I do not practice this system of magic. It is the Haitian Voodoo Handbook. Now, what I like about this is it goes in depth into the history of how the belief system developed in Haiti. And then it goes deeper into who the Loa are, and it breaks them down um, into the different types of Loa that there are and what their capabilities are, as well as their personalities. It's very good, very good. Um, I enjoyed this very much reading this, and this is one of my favorite books on voodoo. Next we have Diabolic Gnosticism. Uh, I know I read through this book. This is like it contains a variety of, I guess, like essays and stuff from different people, as well as like poetry. I really like the illustrations in this book. Um, However, there wasn't really anything that jumped out to me with this. Maybe when I read it, it just wasn't time for me to like glean anything from it. I may have to reread it again, but it's a cool looking book. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying it unless you just have money to burn, um, to check it out. But definitely a book that may be for people who are interested in the left-handed path. Next is Santa Muerte. And this is The History, Rituals, and Magic of Our Lady of the Holy Death by Tracy Rowland. I am very interested in anything that has to do with the subject of Santa Muerte. This is not my favorite book about her, but this is still a good book. Anything that goes into the history and the truth about her, because she seems to always be portrayed in negative light within film or books that are not of the occult nature. maybe occult fiction. Um, I have met Santa Muerte, and she has come to see me very many times, and I have a deep respect for her. And yeah, it's just, man, when you feel her energy, it's some heavy stuff. And at first, it may be difficult to deal with her, but she lightens up. Um, Initially with Santa Muerte, she didn't seem to have a sense of humor, but she does, and she does care about those that she comes in contact with and decides to work with. Uh, let's see. The next book, Carnal Whispers, Mastery of Necromancy, Death and Undeath by Somnus Dreadwood. Now, this is about necromancy, and this book contains a lot dealing with demons that deal with necromancy. These demons, from my experience with some of them, are not nice demons. Um, they were actually difficult to deal with, to the point that I did stop working what was in this book. Not necessarily because I was scared of what was going to happen, but it was just kind of, my experience was confusing. And you may not believe this, but this may come as a surprise to you. I don't get along with every single demon I come upon. So I do want to kind of go through this again. I did make several attempts to go through this book again. And I made notes that I have to go back to. But yeah, I'm just going to have to be uh, in a certain mood to reread this. Next one is Ceremonial Magic, the power of evocation. I really thought that this was going to be a cool book about how to evoke demons, and it is about how to evoke different spirits. However, this book, first of all, the author, goes through a lot trying to justify the way that that he is doing the evocations, and that kind of bored me. Second of all, the method of these evocations uses divine names and names of angels, which I don't agree with. So that combination kind of turned me off to the book, and I keep it because knowledge is power. And whether you work a belief system, it is still good to know something about um, that practice, because you may be able to share that knowledge with somebody who can use the information. Let's see what we got here. The Abyssal Bible. And this is by Reverend Kane, who is part of the White Circle, WIGHT, as well as the Black Pyre. I have this as well as another book. They deal mostly with goetic spirits, and their grimoires work. So the book that I got from them, of Grim Goetic work. It's a very powerful book. I could feel energy radiating from it, and um, I've used it many times with success. So I do have respect for this author. The Abyssal Bible pretty much goes over like the basics of, I think, what they believe, and it's a nice little addition. You know, not the best book I can have, but not the worst. Next one is the Unholy Bible. It is a version, like everybody has their version of the Unholy Bible. This was written by Reverend Dante, who is a part of the same I guess, group as Reverend Cain, the White Circle, the Black Pyre. This goes over, I guess, like the basics of what their beliefs are. I don't know. And it was okay. I got that because the grimoire that I ordered from them was coming in late, so they threw that in as a little bonus. It's okay, but didn't really stand out to me. This is the Diablos Arcana Daemonicum. I looked at it, and it really didn't appeal to me. You know, it's about spells to summon demons and do stuff, but it seemed like some stuff that you could just like pull off the internet, and it wasn't really deep to me. So I really don't give a damn about that book. Let's see, the next one is Cannabis and Spirituality. For all you potheads, you 420 lovers. I like this book. I haven't gotten through all of it, but I do like the author and the way he speaks about how to have respect for the plant and how to have an agreement with the plant. I do, I don't look down upon people who use certain substances in order to reach other levels, because there are a lot of cultures with shamanistic practices that use substances to alter their consciousness. And this has been going on for like years and years and years. So I do not look down upon individuals who take that route. And I did like this book. I need to finish it. I will eventually, especially since I'm on quarantine. I'm going to have to make a part 3 since I'm running out of time. So I'll talk to you later.